There's big Ed Nelson. Played just 8 minutes in the game against Buffalo, but he's a guy that is made for some Big East wars.
And that's really what I think, makes him a great coach. And you see the results with his teams.
Ed Nelson +1. Yeah. And Ronnie's not exaggerating, folks. If you're just joining us,
great perimeter defense all night long by the Huskies.
Ed Nelson got a gimme rebound. Thanks, sir.
Here in Hartford. Or how about the job Mike Roberts has done in relief? Oh, you don't think about Nelson.
Although that was a bit more challenging. Nelson with the miss. Rebound Marcus White. Nelson gets it. It's like volleyball. The fifth leading three-point shooter percentage-wise in UConn history. Great look round to Ed Nelson.
And the offensive attack, Ed Nelson cutting to the basket just then. A nice delay to get Harris's touches.
Nelson runs the floor well for a big fella. He's doubled down low, goes up over Harris.
Nobody really had a good timing on it.
Didn't hit the rim, so the shot clock didn't recycle. That one hit the rim.
Little bit down, throw it against the board.
Just getting a chance to play in the last 2 ball games. He had 21 in the loss to Northern Arizona. Nelson alone underneath is Ed Nelson, and he lays it in to tie it up. And the beat goes on. There's a nice follow rebound that time by Ed Nelson. He's got 2 baskets off the bench in the
Mr. Dornenkamp, and it's going to be a tough matchup for Ed Nelson. That's only 6'8".
Nelson wants to get it back at the other end, and he does.
And that's what you do.
Entered the night with 70 assists, 3rd most in the country. Nelson put back.
Great offensive rebound by Ed Nelson.
They've shot the ball very quick.
Inside Nelson gets longer off the floor. That's the 2nd foul on him. Jim Calhoun stands up with his palms up.
Numbers, Ron.
Denna Brown dishes right back into the middle. Nelson gets his man in the air, and then he scores. Longer. Went up to try to block him, but he couldn't.
Well, he's shooting over 50% from 3 on the season. That's impressive.
And on the team.
Out of the UConn timeout, Kellogg to Ed Nelson. Right side jumper. Displaying a little bit of...
Shot Anderson. Got away with a push.
Yeah, he did. Shut off by Morris. Ed Nelson, the transfer from Georgia Tech, just powered his way to the bucket.
And they'll reset the offense. Nelson, ball fake, goes right around Fisher.
That's an excellent play.
When he comes to the sideline, as you see Marcus Williams ready to check in, he'll get it together. Great pass from Charlie Villanueva there. Blood boiling as his guys not getting back on defense, getting outworked. A great move there by Ed Nelson. That's what he adds to this team.
That 11-point lead late. Big guy technicals in that game against Notre Dame. Williams, a runner, wouldn't go. Nelson, the follow, and a chance for 3.
The big guys aren't getting back for Syracuse. They're not running.
He's been a positive influence as well. Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, the bigger you are, maybe the foot speed isn't quite, although Roberts can certainly get down the floor. Look at them all trailing, Jay.
No, they're all behind the play. They went too deep after that offensive rebound and did not sprint to get back, and as a result, that is way too easy for Ed Nelson to be able to grab an offensive rebound and get a stick back.
Or can he carve out some area with those shoulders, too?
2 fouls on Watkins.
Beat everybody. Yeah. And he's so agile. Nice delivery here to Nelson. The big fella knocks it down with the jump hook, protected.
The Big East tournament. So they're going to try to right that in a couple of weeks at the Garden. Ed Nelson scores inside.
That's why he hit the lane road. He just powered to the chin.
And controlled by Williams for UConn. Good balance. Pitt with very good balance. Nice look down to Nelson down deep. And the jump hook goes down for the Fort Lauderdale native, Ed Nelson. Smaller guard position with Ramon. Feeding the post. Nelson puts it on the floor. And the leader goes down.
See if they can get that done defensively. Georgetown #1 in scoring defense.
Muscle.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man.
That's he wasn't making enough money.
That's right.
Couldn't buy another one.
About Ed Nelson stepping out and hit about a 10-footer.
That's what strategy's going to be. So as soon as he puts it on the floor, he quickly goes to the basket.
Ed Nelson doesn't score often. That one timely. Cuts the lead to 4 points.
Nelson wants that ball wide open in the zone. Good pass by Williams.
Yes, it was.
Inside Nelson. Power dribble. Remained in the second half. Williams
Inside Nelson. And he banks it home. Nelson is the only guy aside from Williams playing with any energy. Williams at the point. Inside Nelson fires, gets it to go. This kid has been terrific off the bench for Connecticut.
He made a moment ago, didn't go this time.
They just forced him out about a step, Sean. Enough.
Towns really likes that turnaround jumper over his right shoulder, the jump hook over his left. And boy, Ed Nelson.
Lead was 7. Garrison. Rebound taken off the floor by Nelson, who did not get the roll. He got his own rebound. Fouled and a chance for 3.
Bump, Jay. Getting him a little further underneath on this miss. Now watch. He is a big, tough, strong kid.
Pretty good for an 18th-year senior.
Oh, you guys.
Yeah.
He transferred from Georgia Tech.
I'm teasing.
I know what.
Ranked Boston College on December 18th. Nelson, a little tipsy-doodle move. Memphis ranked 9th in the country, and of course for years and years Memphis and Cincinnati did battle in Conference USA. And Nelson with a little jump hook.
Foul.
Denham Brown, very tough shot. Josh Boone kept it alive. Ed Nelson, the first bucket of the ball game. Garrison, a freshman from Niagara Falls, New York. Nelson, he has all 4 Connecticut points. Ed Nelson seen quality minutes here in the first half, and he's earned them. He has 6.
Oh, as a freshman at Georgia Tech. Nelson gets the ball off the inbound and powers it off the glass and in.
Well, this is just a front line that'll make you quick in your shoes. If you
colleges in high school shoot free throws.
That's hard to figure. I don't.
Do they practice that?
Things are going your way. Even the bench is laughing at that. Take a look at this. Here we go. Ready? Doink. Hit the shoulder. I know UConn's got a terrific soccer program also. That's legal in soccer.
In hockey, Nelson's shoulder would have gotten an assist.
But he would have been an assist on his own basket. He's the one who scored. Going up a slide on the zone for his play.
Johnson with the miss, but Nelson with the putback. Here's a sophomore. 3 minutes gone, second half. UConn by 33. Marcus Johnson fed Nelson. Bad pass. Nelson got it anyway. 15 points. Left side pull-up Marcus Johnson, and there's that Nelson again. He's all over the place. And now he'll be at the foul line.
And not fall behind with one of those tough starts.
The one-touch pass from Johnson to Nelson in the foul.
Now Morehead State with full court pressure in Connecticut. This is a very young Morehead State team, as you mentioned. 5 freshmen, 1 sophomore. This is an awfully tough test on the road today.
Nelson inside. That's the 3rd time in the first 2:06 that the Huskies get a basket and a foul.
Well, the game plan is simple. Take what the defense gives you, and if it's inside, go to it. No one able to match up with the strength of Ed Nelson.
As Johnson comes away with the steal, and it's a 3-on-2, and then Sean Williams picks his pocket from behind. It's the 4th time that UConn has a basket and a foul.
Wow, this is just pure strength on the part of Ed Nelson. The save by Morehead State on the near steal. Nelson, right place, right time. Check out the hack on this one and his ability with his upper body strength to just finish it off. There's Morehead with the near steal. Nelson's there. Got hammered, and he just follows through with the basket. He's a strong man.
Figures for the 6th straight game, all off the bench. Jay feeds Nelson.
Really starting the second half than they were to start the game. Not turning it over. Nice pass again.
There's a new UConn career high for Ed Nelson with his 13th and 14th points.
These guys are just going to have to get a W soon to get the confidence back.
Nelson baseline. And for the 4th time today, Nelson gets a basket and draws the foul.
He's just too strong for this front line. No one can match up with Ed Nelson physically. Good look inside. Takes what the defense gives, which is that baseline. He's shown some pretty crafty moves underneath there with that nice up and under move.
Nelson 5 of 6 from the line. Now has a UConn career high 17 points and gets a tremendous ovation when he departs. If you hustle and play hard all the time, the crowd always notices.
Yep. A way to slow them down. Try to force the outside jumper.
What a move that was by Rudy Gay, just basic Powering home is Ed Nelson. Bodies flying all over. 8-4 over 4 guards. They are something else. Garrison does a nice job to save. Ed Nelson, power move.
Turnover. Here's Austrie. Down low, Boone draws the double team to Ed Nelson, who checks in and makes his presence felt right away.
Nice interior passing.
7 minutes to go in the half. Quinnipiac by 4. Anderson, tough shot baseline, partially blocked. Nelson with the putback.
Quinnipiac continues to play that man-to-man and try to sag. They're really undersized in this ball game.
Well, they sagged in on Boone. It resulted in a wide open look for Nelson.
It is tough to get big openings.
Rudy Gay can't get the 3 to go. Nelson in the game, puts up an offensive rebound and gets the roll.
St. John's also played Duke this year, then ranked #1 as well. Oh, nice finish.
Rudy Gay to Nelson.
He saw something he didn't like. He'll make the quick move.
Here's Boone. Ed Nelson thought about it. Backs his way in. Power player. Jump hook short. Air ball, in fact. Got it back. Nelson muscling and scores. Big Ed Nelson.
And we have seen a collection of pretty baskets for UConn. Now here's Nelson. Ed Nelson checked in. He gets it back, goes glass, and puts it down.
He fell asleep. Set play. Nelson has walked twice on his play and hits the shot.
Those open up shooters if you're not careful.
Adrian finds Gay. There's the entry pass to Nelson.
What a great play by Gay. And Nelson's strength. You know he's been in the weight room. He hasn't said no at the cafeteria either, Vern, but takes up so much room. He's run the floor beautifully. Even if he hasn't caught the ball or been given the opportunity, he just closes on his guy, seals him on his back, and then with some power, elevates.
Ed Nelson began his collegiate career at Georgia Tech, transferred to UConn, sat out, now a senior from Fort Lauderdale. And he's essentially the 10th man on this very, very deep squad.
Well, that's the reason Jim Calhoun can go and